In front of me, I've got the 2025 Triumph Trident 660. This year, they got a whole raft of changes. We've got some revised suspension. We've got an IMU this year. We've even got cruise control and a quick shifter, all as standard on this new middleweight naked. Still the 660cc inline triple Euro 5 Plus this year. 81 horsepower, 64 Newton meters of torque. We've got Nissin brakes, Showa suspension, lovely looks. Still looks quite nice, and I do like these new colourways. This is the Diablo Red. There's also a blue one, Cobalt Blue and Cosmic Yellow. We've got Michelin Road 5 tyres, so decent tyres out of the gate. And a very nice seat, actually it's quite comfortable. 805mm seat height. Pretty approachable, I think, for most people, although if you're super tall, you might struggle. So if I just throw my leg over it, I'm 5'8" with a 30-inch inseam, and I can pretty much, not quite, but nearly flat-foot it. And it's got a nice narrow standover as well. 14-litre fuel tank as well. So yeah, the cruise control button just at the back there. Let's turn the dash on. Now this dash gets quite a lot of hate, so I expect nothing less in the comments. But this was the first bike that Triumph actually had this dash. Back in 2020 when the original Trident was launched. Not the original, but the sort of new Trident 660. But there you go, so you got an LCD, inverse LCD at the top and a little TFT at the bottom. Oh, and you also get the Bluetooth connectivity module as standard, so you can do the turn-by-turn navigation if you connect it up to your phone. All the bits and bobs there, you know, fuel status, trip meters, all that jazz. This year we've also got another riding mode. So we've got Rain, Road and now Sport. The Sport is the new map. It's got built-in ABS and traction control, which are lean sensitive. In Rain mode, the ABS and the traction will be a lot more intrusive than in Sport mode. This year we got the shift assist. That is also as standard. Well, what do we think? 2025 Triumph Trident 660. Loving these colours actually. The stripes down, does look quite nice. Right, let's go for a spin. Yes, that's pretty approachable. Clutch in. Start up the inline triple. It does seem to have that delay that the original 2020 Trident had. Low speed throttle response. Quite nice, even in sport mode. Very smooth. Very smooth indeed. Lovely. I'm not quite sure how picture skew the roads are going to be. Right, okay, let's talk about the engine then. We've got a 660cc inline triple making 81 horses at 10,250 RPM and 64 Newton meters of torque at 6,250 RPM. But Triumph do say that the bike actually makes 90% of its torque throughout the entire rev range. So it's not a bike you have to absolutely rev to the moon and back. It does make fairly decent power low down. I was actually on the original launch, not the 70s version of course, but the 2020 Trident, and that was in Tenerife. And I think back then they said something like 80% of torque from, I think it's like 3,000 RPM. I don't know if that's changed, I don't think it has. Very smooth, still quite a lot of grunt from middleweight naked. Suspension this year we've got slightly upgraded suspension. We've got the still Showa forks 41mm, but they are now the separate function fork big piston version. So that just adds a little bit more refinement and makes things a little bit plusher. And at the rear we've got a Showa monoshock, and that's got adjustment for preload only. The front is completely unadjustable. Unfortunately, we've got heated grips on this one, but those are an optional extra. But on a day like today, it's 9 degrees, and that's 9 degrees if you're standing still. It's flipping cold when you're on a motorcycle, let me tell you. I am rather Baltic. Braking wise, we've still got the Nissin twin piston sliding calipers up front, and while, you know, twin piston sliding calipers might not sound amazing, they actually perform really well. They're quite surprising how good they feel. 310mm discs up front as well. So I've already mentioned the seat height, but I'll go over that again. So it's 805mm. Again, very, very approachable. I wouldn't say I don't think I'm short, but apparently, according to Tinder, I'm short. 5'8" and a bit. Now, let me tell you, the bit is really important. Half an inch will make all the difference, as my good lady tells me with a disappointed look on her face. We have a wet weight of 190 kilograms, so it's pretty light. I don't think it beats the MT-07. I think that's still the lightest in the category at about 184. But it certainly feels really light and flickable. Very nimble on its feet. It could be a salsa dancer, unlike me. I'm built like a steakhouse, but I handle like a bistro. And I mentioned the fuel tank, 14 litres. I'm guessing that's good for about 160 miles, roughly, give or take. It does all depend on how you ride, of course. Now let's talk about some electronics, because this year we do have a raft of changes. Yeah, we have an IMU on this bike, which means lean sensitive traction control, ABS. We have a new riding mode, Sport, which has just got a sportier throttle map and engine tune. And we also have Road and Rain still. They all make the same amount of power, it's just the throttle curve and engine map that's different. You can get an A2 restrictor kit for this bike, which is just a different throttle twist grip and an engine tune, and that's 157 quid. So if you're looking at an A2 test, you can purchase this, get the restrictor kit, and then when you pass your full test, you can get that restrictor lifted. There we go, I was in 4th gear there, 4th gear roll on, not too bad at all. We'll bop it down a gear though. Bop it down a gear. I come out with all the phrases, don't I? We also have a quick shifter, now a standard. Cruise control is standard, which is pretty damn good. So a pretty decent and comprehensive electronic suite, I think, for this year. Engine performance is really quite lovely. It's, you know, I always say triple's kind of the best of both worlds. We've got torque from a V-twin, but the smoothness of an inline-4. Quick shifter performance is pretty good. Low in the RPM, it's a little bit snatchy, certainly in the first sort of couple of gears. It's just not as refined as something like on a street triple, but you know, it is a cheap motorcycle, or certainly a lot cheaper than a street triple. However, once you get up into the RPMs, it's not too bad. The handling from this bike is really lovely, and that's, for me, it's one of the highlights of the bike. It really does handle extremely well. You can really just throw it on its ear and it will make no complaints at all. And those brakes are very, very aggressive, which is so surprising from, you know, axial twin piston sliders. You would think that they're absolutely pants, or they would be pants, but they're not. They're really quite good. Great progressive feel through the lever and good bite from the off as well. I don't know how Triumph do that, but I think they need to talk to the other manufacturers and give them a few tips. Power! Slot in behind Toad, slide into his DMs. Oh, sorry Toad. I've got Grace behind me, Miss Webb. If you don't know Grace, she is TT, what do they call it? TT announcer? No, not announcer. Not an announcer. Presenter. TT presenter extraordinaire Grace Webb is behind me. The seat is actually really comfortable. We've been riding for about an hour and yeah, no real complaints, and this is better than some flipping touring bikes. Yeah, when you do the low speed changes, it's a little bit jerky. Then up in the higher revs, it's a lot smoother. So a 6-speed gearbox, of course. Changing gears with the clutch is pretty good. Fairly light slip and assist clutch. Yeah, again, it's the handling of this bike which is just absolutely fantastic. So agile, just gives you lots of confidence. Also, these Michelin Road 5 tyres are excellent in all weathers. So, you know, you wouldn't have to go and spend extra money on getting some decent rubber because it comes with it as standard. You know, it's a naked bike, so there's not too much in terms of weather protection. You do get these little sort of knee cutouts. So my knees aren't actually that cold, but yeah, your upper body, you are going to get hit with a bit of wind blast, but of course it's all clean air. The dash is nice and clear. I know people don't seem to like this dash, but I don't mind it. But yeah, it's a really slim looking, nimble thing. I probably look a little bit ridiculous, like Donkey Kong riding a motorcycle.
So we've just stopped at Rutland Water for a spot of lunch, and it gives me a chance to do a bit of a walk around of the new Trident. So here it is, and we've got a very nice backdrop actually. So yeah, we'll just go over some of the items. So there's your Nissin dual piston sliding calipers. There's the new Showa forks, 41mm SFFBP, which is denoted on top of the fork leg there. Still got the same looks, does look quite nice. And of course the engine, that inline triple 660cc, 81 horses, 64 Newton meters of torque, Euro 5 Plus compliant this year, just to keep it all nice and green. 14 litre fuel tank, and in this colourway I think it looks quite nice. This is the Diablo blue, but it also comes in cosmic yellow and Diablo red as well. LED lights all round. I don't have the key, so I can't actually turn the bike on. Quite a stubby tail unit, but that's nothing new. There's your number plate hanger there. Michelin Road 5 tyres, but these are pretty decent on the roads we've been riding today. No complaints at all. And there's your Showa RSU monoshock, and the only adjustability on that is preload, and no adjustability to the forks, unfortunately. But yeah, there she is, looking resplendent in the sun.
Right, so I've been on the bike for about, I think it's like 2 hours now. Off and on, doing a lot of photo stops and video and all that jazz, but yeah, I do have some thoughts about the bike. I think the update is flipping awesome. Still a fantastic handling bike, improved with that bigger piston front fork. Just make things a little bit more refined over the bumpy bits. Brakes are still awesome. You know, the addition of cruise control, that's a real life, real world improvement. So if you're looking at doing a tour on one of these, that's certainly going to help. Or if you have to do a lot of motorway miles, you know, that's going to be a positive addition. Yeah, so updates then for the 2025 Trident. Still got the same amazing engine, plenty of oomph, great chassis, really nice handling, and it's got some pretty decent updates for this year with that IMU and the cruise control. Those are real world improvements, I think, as well as the quick shifter now as standard, so you know you're not going to have to put your hand in your pocket to get those bits. All in all, it just makes it for a more complete package, and the price has barely changed. It's 7,895 with the base colour, and if you want one of these fancier colours it's an extra £100, so 7,995. It's Euro 5 Plus compliant, so that sees them good for a few years. The comfort, I have to say, the comfort is definitely one of the more impressive features of this bike as well, because you know it's a middleweight naked, you don't expect it to be super comfortable. Yeah, 2 hours, okay, we have breaks here and there, but not once have I even had any kind of discomfort or pain. And I think they've done something with the padding this year, given it a bit more padding, or perhaps that's on the Tiger 660, I can't remember. But yeah, suffice to say, comfort levels on this bike really high. Standout features are the agility of this bike really does feel properly light and agile. But while that engine, you know, offers a good amount of torque, decent power, while still being fairly sensible. You know, 81 horses isn't going to give you too much hassle if you're new to riding. And I think it's a bike that both new and old riders can get something out of. You know, if you're a more experienced rider, you can certainly enjoy this bike in the twisties, have a bit of fun, and that's where the chassis and the handling comes in. And if you're kind of new at riding, it's very easy to live with, very easy to ride around town or commuting. 10,000 miles service intervals, or 12 months, whichever comes first, 2-year warranty. Triumph were saying that out of all the competitors, this is the cheapest bike to service. I'm going to have to take them at face value at that, because I can't really prove that claim or not. Yeah, it's just a lovely place to be. Now this kind of ride, it's you know, I'm not going to get an in-depth look at the bike, but it's good to get a first ride done on it anyway. Ooh, sheeps. So that was a 4th gear roll on. Yeah, picked up nicely. Lovely, lovely jubbly. And now I'm just going to enjoy some of these lovely roads in Leicestershire. There is quite a bit of traffic today, but that's okay. And I really need a wee! Triumph build quality does look pretty high. That's nothing new. Triumph's bikes always seem really well put together. You know, from the paintwork to the fixtures and fittings, it all looks pretty high quality. I'll try and get one of these for a couple of weeks from Triumph so I can do a bit more of a living with style review. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see that. And the sun's come out, lovely. That's what we need. Need to be warmed up a little bit. Yeah, overall 2025, ooh, unmarked roses. So yeah, all in all, lots of positives for this bike. I'm not going to do pros and cons on this video because I feel like I need to spend a bit more time with the bike. But I do want to say thank you very much for watching my video. Hopefully you found it entertaining. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And all that's left for me to say is, if you do go out today, do ride safely, but remember to have fun, of course. Otherwise, what's the point? Until next time, you take care and peace.